Today we're taking a look at Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War gameplay details and information. A few days ago I was invited to a remote preview for COD 2020 where we learnt about multiplayer, single player, zombies, Warzone and more. And in this video I'm going to let you know the most important details about the latest game in the franchise. From the top then, Black Ops Cold War is a direct sequel to Black Ops 1, developed by Treyarch and Raven Software. The launch date is November 13th and will meet the next gen console launch. In terms of multiplayer, Black Ops Cold War will feature the next COD multiplayer suite and all new zombies experience in addition to sharing content with Call of Duty Warzone. It will feature cross-generation and cross-play support, with cross-progression for all players to play together. There's a battle pass system, free DLC, a planned steady stream of post-launch content including multiplayer maps and modes, zombie experiences along with in-game community events. And this game includes shared progression features with Warzone, adding inventory items that can be used in both titles. Plus, Warzone players will still have access to Modern Warfare content that they earned previously, like operators and weapon blueprints. And September 9th will be the first time that multiplayer is shown. There was a very small clip at the end of the reveal trailer which did appear to show multiplayer gameplay. Set in the desert in what looks like to be quite a large map with dune buggies and helicopters flying around, bombs dropping from the sky. Could this be Black Ops' version of Ground War? I hope so, we'll have to wait and see. As for the campaign, well, Cold War continues the story from Black Ops 1. Including Mason, Hudson and Woods, but also introduces new characters such as the mysterious CIA operative Russell Adler. There are some real political figures in it too, such as Reagan. The story revolves around hunting down a Soviet spy codenamed Perseus said to be in active service. His mission is to destabilize the global balance of power and change the course of history. And he kind of looks like the bad guy from Stranger Things Season 3. The campaign starts in 1981 and spans across multiple time zones and places, including a flashback to Vietnam, but the majority will be set in the 1980s. Paranoia, conspiracy theories, and the fear and shadow of a looming World War III are the key themes. During the campaign, players will visit locations such as Asia, Europe, North America, Latin America, East Berlin, Turkey, Vietnam, and Soviet-era Moscow. The player is given dialogue choices at key moments, and some of these can affect what happens in the story. And there are multiple endings too, and optional side missions. At the start of the campaign, you can choose your name, skin tone, gender, place of birth, and a military background. You can also choose a psychological profile which has some gameplay implications, such as increased aiming speed, bullet damage, and sprint time, for example. Treyarch and Raven said that player freedom and choice is primary in the gameplay, and along with the trailer, they did show us a few snippets of real gameplay from different sections of the campaign. And the most interesting thing to me was that each of these missions had different types of gameplay not typically seen in a COD campaign, and also options for the player. So I'll quickly take you through the missions that they showed us. The first one was Ukraine, and this is a mid-game mission with Woods where you start in the woods and you attempt to recon and infiltrate a massive, weird-looking Soviet Union structure behind the Iron Curtain. So you travel through the woods, you survey the area with a camera, take a picture, and enter through a maintenance tunnel. Inside you find a 1980s arcade full of mannequins and playable Activision games. There are all sorts of game machines in there: Barnstorming, Grand Prix, Pitfall, Fishing Derby, and from what I could tell, they had interact prompts on them too. So I assume that you can play them and give them a whirl if you wanted to. So you move on through and you discover that outside is a replica of a typical Maintown USA location with a cinema, burger bar, video shop, sports emporium, and more. And you realize that this place has been built as a Spetsnaz training course to practice an invasion of the United States. And you've interrupted a drill. So you decide to give them a live fire drill instead. Madness ensues, bullets go flying while Hit Me With Your Best Shot plays over the speaker system, and you end up commandeering an armoured vehicle with a machine gun on top and blast your way out of there. It was a typical COD campaign spectacle. The weapons that I saw here were the MP5, the G3A3, the AK-47, Tomahawk axes, and I did see multiple scope options here too. The next mission was set in Moscow, where you're playing as a Soviet double agent inside the infamous Lubyanka building. However, this mission appeared to play out more like your typical Hitman level, where you could view a map and choose how to complete each objective. Framing people, blackmailing, bribing, interrogating prisoners, reprogramming keycards, and even poisoning. It appeared to be very non-linear in its fashion, and player choice is at the forefront of this one. The first half of the mission is all about that cloak and dagger feel, but when your cover is busted, the second half is pure Call of Duty action. You're with two other teammates as you descend in an elevator. The doors open, slow motion kicks in, you throw out a C4, and then you just start mowing down the enemies in front of you, destruction all around using an RPK machine gun. So you've got to fight your way out of there, get to a pickup car, you jump in, and then a high octane car chase occurs with some nice cinematography and action set pieces. The third mission was set in Vietnam as the team relived their fractured memories of a mission where they think that they crossed paths with Perseus and they're hunting for a clue in their minds. This mission reminded me of your typical Far Cry level with a more open feel and objective bubbles which you could go to in any order. There appeared to be several gameplay options here too, a stealthy section with a recurve hunting bow and takedowns, an M40 sniper section, an explosive section with the War Machine grenade launcher, and also your typical looking Hollywood Vietnam action with napalm bombs, attack helicopters, M16s, and pump action trench shotguns. It's worth noting too that this mission was a bit trippy, let's say, and parts of it reset and offered new experiences once the player had completed certain objectives. It's almost as if the squad who are reliving this memory are on something mind-altering. Further on in the mission, the floors and walls start falling apart in front of you, buildings appear, doors and bunkers crash to the ground out of the sky. It was a bit Inception at times, and it reminded me of some of the classic mind-bending Black Ops missions of old. And they say that this is one of the most unique levels that they've ever created. And as for the gameplay, that's all that they showed us apart from everything that I've just mentioned. Well, they did go into detail about the clothing and the vehicles a little bit, and also the upgrades to the lighting engine and enhancements to volumetrics in the game. And this was things like fog, light rays, shadows, global illumination, colored lighting, all that good stuff. In terms of graphics, what they showed us, they said was pre-beta running on PlayStation 5. On first impressions, I would say it looked as good as the Modern Warfare campaign on ultra settings on a high-end PC, which does fall in line with my expectations of next-gen console launch titles. It looked good, but I don't think it was a significant leap over Modern Warfare. What I appreciated the most about the graphics though were that they looked realistic. There was no weird filter or lens here. It looked dark, gritty, and real. A stark contrast to how colourful the last two Black Ops games were, which I personally wasn't a big fan of. Some other tidbits, the RCXD, that's the remote control car with the explosive on, that looks like it's returning to the campaign and possibly multiplayer too. They did go in detail about an armor suit as well that you can wear. And this isn't like a Juggernaut suit that you would see in COD Warzone or Modern Warfare, for example. It was more like a realistic looking armor set from the 1980s for your torso. And this appeared several times in the gameplay, so I'm going to assume that it will be some kind of perk or upgrade for multiplayer. The cross-generation thing is quite interesting to me too. This is releasing on PS4, Xbox One, PC, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. And you can all play together. And they're calling this cross-gen. I can't think of any other game that's done cross-gen before, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Overall, I think it's really cool. It's inclusive and it allows people to play with their family and friends no matter what system they're gaming on. But it does bring up some question marks for me because the new consoles, obviously they're a lot more powerful than the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro. So we can assume that in multiplayer, the frames per second and just overall performance will be way better on the new consoles. So it makes me wonder, will they limit the frames per second on the new consoles for the sake of fairness when playing with the older consoles? I don't know, it's not been that much of a big deal with Warzone and Modern Warfare. That's been cross-platform, obviously on PC. You get way better frame rate than you do on the current consoles. But I just hope that on the new platforms, they can experience these games at higher frame rates and potentially higher refresh rates if people's monitors and TV hardware can support it, because we know that the new consoles are touting higher refresh rates and frame rates. And it'd be a shame to limit them just for the sake of parity. I do realise I'm making a big assumption there, but we'll see how that turns out. And that's about it. I think those are the most important details that were shared with us. Do let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. My first impression, It looked good. I enjoyed the vibe of it. I love that Cold War feel. I like that they've gone back to the original Black Ops for most of the inspiration here. We didn't learn much about multiplayer, but the campaign looks kind of cool. Zombies, again, it was just said it's coming. The Warzone stuff, obviously they've got big plans there, but they don't want to spoil anything. I haven't played the game yet, so I can't comment on how it plays and how it feels, but from what they showed me, it's definitely piqued my interest. And that's all, guys. If you enjoyed the video, do leave a like. If you didn't like it, dislike it. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.